Well, first of all, I would like to thank Uusi Kaupunki for the nice presentation, and I can verify you that yes, they have reached to Tallinn as well, and together we worked on really important theme, the Tallinn-Helsinki tunnel, during which design process I managed to create the big hole in center of Tallinn, and photo design managed to make kind of the dome by the railway station in Helsinki, which will probably raise up different questions. But to the theme, actually, I was a bit surprised when Tiina called me and proposed me to give you a lecture on Baltic architecture. I am not an architect historian who has exploited this topic in any great depth. I'm an architect who likes to draw houses. But as you probably well know, it is pointless arguing with Tiina, especially when she asks me to present my own projects as well. Yeah, in my life, I have been lucky enough to have been invited to various international juries in all of the 3 Baltic countries. Competitions for new buildings and urban designs, as well as for the Building of the Year awards. I have to say that I have fully enjoyed those visits and the cream to la cream of my colleagues' work. I am convinced that such cross-border sharing of experience in the form of exchanging specialists is progressive and strengthens our area of expertise. Driven by that experience, I initiated a prize at the Estonian Association of Architects last year, with the jury to be comprised of specialists solely from abroad. In first year, the jury was formed by Rainer Mahlamägi from Finland, and this year by Fuensanta Nieto. That kind of extensive competing, which was referred here as well before, has made me ask, is architecture a field of sports? I do not know the answer to that question, but it is clear that a large share of our high-quality architecture is born through competitions. But let's start with big news from Latvia. The winner of the All-Stars competition of the Latvian Museum of Contemporary Art was recently announced, a Jaya Association from London. There is yet little information about the design, but let us hope that this design's destiny will be better than one of the new Talin Town Hall, designed by Bjerke Ingels Group, which will remain on paper, unfortunately. Luckily, not all the designs in Estonia are left just on paper. The Estonian National Museum recently opened its doors in Tartu by Torell, Kotmet and Tein architects. It is not an exaggeration to say that it was the most eagerly awaited new building in Estonia. Although I have serious doubts whether Estonian women have throughout the history managed to knit enough mittens to fill this huge building, it is clear that this new house has brought a new layer to Estonian cultural history. I sincerely hope that high-quality architecture can create an environment which becomes an attraction even in its current location, described as in the middle of nowhere on an old military airfield. One thing is sure, though. I believe that this is the only museum in the world which is best visited by the private plane, as it situates on the airfield. Lithuanians also love art. In 2008, the winner of the architectural competition for the Guggenheim Museum Lithuania was announced, Zaha Hadid Architects. Unfortunately, I have no information about the fate of that project. I do know, however, that the Latvian Museum of Arts designed by Lithuanian Andrius Kiskelas has been completed. Regardless of one museum being straight, another crooked, and the third, as you can see, underground, one thing is certain: the architectural landscape of the Baltic countries is exceptionally open, and the quality of architecture plays far more important role than the country of origin of the architects. Last year, I was asked to give a lecture on Estonian residential architecture here in Helsinki at the annual gathering of the Housing Reform Society. In order to solve this situation, what to show democratically, I sent to the members of the Estonian Association of Architects a letter asking them to send me a few photos of their best house. The result astonished me. On about 90% of the photos, I was looking at the white modernism. Well, let the architecture historians decide whether this is a case of small community-focused school, desire for all that is Scandinavian, or the stress caused by Second World War and the craving for old times of 1930s. I don't know. As I see it, younger architects have started to bring some spice and salt in Estonian architecture, with a useful attitude towards the local school. The Rotermanni Quarter was perhaps one of the first and probably the best known heralds of the new trends, which one of the authors is sitting also here, Mihkel Tüür. About a year ago, an international competition was held for Noblessner Quarter in Talin. The participants included adept from Denmark, white architect from Sweden, arhitektitoimisto Bruno ja Maunula from Finland, so from all the Scandinavian countries, and 3 architectural offices from Estonia. I was truly happy and surprised to win that competition. I hope this will further enrich our architectural landscape. While the design for the new building of Estonian Academy of Arts by 2 Danish bureaus, See and Effect, has been officially buried, the fate of the new building of the Estonian School of Ballet and Music by Atelier Toomas Puscher is still unclear. Latvians, again, have been doing better. Their extension for the Art Academy of Latvia by SCK und Partneri was already completed a while ago. The big orange Liepaja concert hall by Volker Kienke is newer and also definitely worth a visit. I can recommend. I do hope that the line of success will soon arrive also to Estonia and include the Arvo Pärt Center by Nieto Sobejano. Yeah, this is the competition entry. Actually, we Estonians don't have anything to be embarrassed about, as well as our Narva College building will probably soon have been featured in every publication and presentation in the world. Well done, Kava architects. I have been asked what is common and what is different in Baltic architecture. The honest answer is that I don't know. It seems that Lithuania has most of the money. Their towers are the most magnificent and their library the most modern. However, if we look for boundaries between countries, I find them on rather different level, which tends to be based on the mentality and does not necessarily match the current state borders. I would even dare to say that this mentality follows a far more ancient territorial division. We can see here how the Baltic is divided in an entirely different way, and the sea is rather unifies us than separates us. So we can see here Estonia, Livonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Sweden. For me, these localities appear primarily in the use and meaning of building materials, in case of both timber and stone. Taking simplification to the extreme, I dare claim that while in Sweden, Finland and Estonia, timber is considered as a cheap and simple building material, southern Latvia and Lithuania treat this material with considerably more attention to the detail. The stone-laying patterns found in Viljandi, for instance here, cannot be seen in Talin, but they can be seen in Riga. The most peculiar link I have observed is smell. I do not have the slightest idea what the composition of this probably tar-based timber preservative is, but the specific smell that accompanied my childhood summers by the sea in southwestern Estonia, somewhere around here, struck me first time in many, many years on coast of Latvia on masterfully blended summer house by Brigitta Pula. So well, Swedish architects as well. On those photos we can see another Latvian skill as well, superbly masterful renovation and reuse of wood. The use of wood attains even a further level of detail in Lithuania. This is summer house a la Lithuania. As you can see, it's much larger as they have more money. But that's not the point. The point is actually, if you're architects, you like details, and if you're turning the attention to these glulam beams, you can see those tiny little copper shoes under the beams. That kind of detailing is not really common up here, I believe. In Lithuania, beautiful wooden details can also be found on public buildings. For instance, on Swedbank's terrace in central Vilnius. Exquisite house anyhow. In Estonia, the attitude is more relaxed. We tend to seek the emotional value of wood and apply it more freely in the creation of different environments. Like elsewhere in Scandinavia, the use of timber is strongly rising trend also in Estonia. The opinion that wood is only suitable for building sheds and smaller houses is wavering. Recently, I designed the first big all-wooden public building in Talin, the Talin Equestrian Sports Center. It is a competition center which houses 80 horses and stands for 1,600 people. The building was designed using parametric software and other technological innovations, and construction should start hopefully in spring. The Estonian Forest and Wood Industries Association has considerably boosted the use of wood by organizing architectural competitions of wood buildings in Estonia. I have to admit that Kadarik architects have been my main competitor there. Today, there are so many awards ahead of me, Mihkel, that I am not really sure that I can catch up, but I definitely try. So, anyhow, last year in Estonia can definitely be described as Kadarik Tüür's Architects' Year, which was also recognized by the main prize of Estonian Cultural Endowment. In any case, Mihkel is here today and presenting their newest designs, I hope. Thank you.